Hey guys, this is part 2 of the story. In this story, our favorite blonde is the wielder of Rinnegan, who also happens to be the Six Path Sage's reincarnation. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share with your friends. Now, let's begin. 1 year later, Naruto 7 years old. In the last year many things happened around Konoha and even more with our loud blonde. He was now 7-year-old kid. Naruto changed his outfit. He now wore dark green pants, a blue t-shirt with an orange sleeveless jacket. A couple of weeks ago there was an incident that shocked Konoha. The Uchiha's clan prodigy Uchiha Itachi massacred his own clan, leaving only his little brother alive. This event turned his little brother Uchiha Sasuke into an avenger, wishing only to kill his older brother to avenge his fallen clan. The Uchiha clan, even though were arrogant pricks, they were a powerful and highly respected clan in Konoha. The funeral service was huge. Every person in Konoha attended and paid their respects, with the Hokage delivering the eulogy. Naruto watched from afar with a sad face. He may not have liked the Uchihas, but in a way they were family. He also felt a bit glad that he never told anyone he was an Uchiha, or maybe he also would be sleeping underground right now. Naruto decided that after this incident maybe it would be better to tell the Hokage about his legacy, but still keeping it a secret from the village for now. What would the village think if right after the Uchiha massacre, the demon brat appeared using the Sharingan and being one of the last Uchihas? Man, I would be eaten alive. He would most likely be forced to, when ready, be a sperm donor to restart his clan. He was the demon brat. He would most likely be used and when not necessary discarded. He thought about approaching Sasuke, but when he saw him in the academy, the kind of personality he had, power-hungry, arrogant, he wisely chose to forget him and let him be. The academy in Konoha starts at age 8 to anyone who wishes to become a shinobi of Konoha. The curriculum lasts 6 years and ends with the students being 14 years old and get in rank should they pass their exams. The academy starts with history, math and other general topics, then goes for chakra theory and principles to stealth, weapons training, traps and tactical training, and ends with Taijutsu and Ninjutsu training. When the Naruto showed the Kyuubi his academy curriculum, he wondered how the hell was Konoha the strongest shinobi village in the elemental nations. This year's class was very special. Naruto's class was filled with clan's heirs. There was the Inuzuka, known for their dog partners and collaboration in jutsu. The heir of the clan was Inuzuka Kiba, a loud and brash kid. He had brown hair and 2 red markings, one in each cheek, symbol of his clan. There was the Akimichi clan. Their heir was Akimichi Kuji, a small boy with large bones. Anyone who called him fat gets smashed. Their clan was known for using techniques that relied on high calorie usage, meaning Kuji was always eating. There was the Yamanaka clan. Their heiress was Yamanaka Ino. She had long blonde hair and wore a dark pink outfit. Her clan used mind techniques. They could read thoughts with mere touch, confused and make enemies attack each other, and even take control of the enemy's body. There was the Nara clan. Their heir was Nara Shikamaru. He had pineapple-style hair and wore mesh shirt with black sleeveless jacket and black pants. He was lazy and mostly slept through classes. The Nara clan was known for its members having high IQ and being extremely skilled in strategy and planning. Shikamaru's father was actually the head of the strategy division of the village. There was the Aburame clan. Their heir was Aburame Shino. He has a collected guy, distant to everybody. He had black sunglasses and wore a gray cloak that pretty much only showed his glasses. His clan rely on using bugs to fight. Their children once born are implanted with bugs that feed on their chakra so they can use them to fight. There was the Uchiha clan. The last member of his clan and heir was Uchiha Sasuke. He wore a blue shirt with the Uchiha crest in the back and white shorts. The Uchiha clan was known for their high affinity for fire and their Kakei Genkai, the Sharingan that Naruto also had. Naruto was an Uchiha after all. There was also a girl named Haruno Sakura. She had pink hair and wore a pink dress. Even though she wasn't from any clan, she was in this class. She was the daughter of Haruno Akira, which was a member of the civilian council. Figures, he thought. The last clan was no other than the Hyuga clan and their heiress Hyuga Hinata. The Hyuga clan, much like the Uchihas, were known for their Dojutsu, the Byakugan. This bloodline limit when active allowed them to see chakra with high detail, almost 360-degree vision and long range extending to kilometers if trained enough. The clan also have the gentle fist taijutsu style, which is renowned to be the strongest form. Hinata and Naruto met a couple years ago after Naruto saved her twice and she developed a crush on him. Both of them met a few times along the years and became close friends, and even though neither of them would admit, they both liked each other more than simple friends. The current year was going down without much trouble. Naruto decided to accept the Kyuubi's suggestions regarding academy and use a mask. The Kyuubi suggested Naruto to hide his real strength. Deception is the ninja's greatest weapon, and so Naruto opted to show his mask by being a loud, knucklehead, dumb kid. He chose to become the dead last, and it was a wise choice, since every teacher tried his best to make look bad he couldn't rise suspicion, for now. I bet the civilian council would have me stay weak forever if they could, Naruto thought as he tried to sleep in the classroom. 1 year later. In the last year Naruto grew more than he could hope for. Thanks to his matured Sharingan, he managed to copy an extremely useful technique while watching two Jonin spar. Naruto was approaching a training field hoping that it would be empty when he sensed a powerful chakra signatures. Suppressing his chakra, something that the Kyuubi taught him he could actually sneak up on people extremely well. Being a sensor allowed him to know if he was actually suppressing his effectively or not. He approached and started to watch them. "So Kakashi, are you ready for our next youthful challenge?" said a Jonin that was wearing full-body green spandex suit, a Jonin flat jacket. He had the thickest eyebrows Naruto had ever seen. Not paying attention, the silver-haired ninja identified as Kakashi said something guy. "Damn you Kakashi and your hip ways. Our score stands 50-50, shall we begin?" Guy asked, to which Kakashi nodded. Kakashi had silver gravity-defying hair, he wore that standard Jonin clothes, black pants, mesh shirt with Jonin flat jacket, and covering his left eye was the Konoha Hitaye. Naruto watched in wonder the speed on the battle. His fully matured Sharingan allowed him to follow every single move each one of them did. The battle went for a couple of minutes until Kakashi pulled up his Hitaye, revealing a Sharingan. "What? How can he have a Sharingan? I thought all Uchihas were killed minus Sasuke," Naruto thought, wondering how could Kakashi have the Sharingan. Kakashi was very popular in Konoha. He was the son of Hitake Sakumo, Konoha's White Fang, known to be as powerful as a Sannin, so he couldn't be Uchiha. "Look carefully, kid. He hides it under the Hitaye, so it's probably an implant," the Kyuubi replied. The battle continued and Naruto copied a few jutsu, including one that would help Naruto immensely and would later become his trademark. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. Armed with the Kage Bushin that, Naruto realized that it transferred his memories to the original he started using for training. For now Naruto's limit was about 1,000 clones. If anyone saw him making so many, would most likely call a monster. After all, this technique was an rank kinjutsu for his massive chakra usage that would kill most shinobis. Since Naruto already had Kage-level reserves, using this technique barely affected his reserves. Something that Naruto wondered was if using the Sharingan gave photographic memory, because he remembered everything he saw. Naruto was walking to the Hokage tower. He decided that after what happened to the Uchiha clan, it would be the best choice to tell the Hokage he had the Sharingan. "Hokage tower. Hey Gigi," said Naruto with foxy grin. The Hokage, seeing Naruto, gave him a smile. He barely got to see him nowadays and wondering if he was always training. "Oh, Naruto-kun, haven't seen you in a while. How is your training going?" the Hokage asked. "It's going very well. I actually got a few awesome techniques," Naruto said, smiling. "I can probably take you on, old man," he said, chuckling. "I'm not that old, Naruto-kun. So what brings you here?" the Hokage asked. "Well, I have a few things I chose to tell me if you promise to not reveal it until I'm ready," Naruto said with a serious face. The Hokage, wondering what it could be, made a hand gesture and the Onbu left the room. Naruto did a few hand seals and said Fuun Jutsu, Cone of Silence. The Hokage gasped for air when he saw Naruto perform a C-rank Fuun Jutsu, but since he knew who his father was, wouldn't be much surprising he was following his footsteps. "Impressive, Naruto-kun, 8 years old and studying Fuun Jutsu," the Hokage said, impressed. "Actually Gigi, I never told you everything about what happened when I was 6 years old, you know," said Naruto with an embarrassed laugh. "Now Gigi, pay attention to me." He said. Naruto closed his eyes and started to channel chakra to them. Slowly opening them, he showed them to the Hokage. Blood-red eyes with 3 black domos in each, the Sharingan. The Hokage heart missed a beat and his eyes bulged out, almost popping out of his head. The Hokage simply asked how? "Well, I am an Uchiha by my father's side," he replied. "How is it possible? Minato never had the Sharingan," the Hokage asked, wondering how could Minato never told him. "I'll explain everything," he said, disabling his eyes. "For starters, I will tell you that my grandfather was none other than Uchiha Madara." That was the final straw. Poor Hokage's heart gave out and he fainted. Naruto, seeing this, sweat dropped. "And he says he's not old," he thought out loud, picking up the Hokage and laying in the couch. A couple minutes later the Hokage started to awake and saw Naruto waiting. "You awake already? Jez." "Here," Naruto said, giving him a cup of tea. "I'm sorry Naruto, I still can't believe it." "How can this be?" the Hokage asked, wondering how could Madara have a son and no one knew. And his son was Minato Namikaze of all people. He has blonde hair for Kami's sake. Naruto started explaining what his father told him. Madara survived his battle with Hashirama and was saved by a woman who would years later become his lover. They had a son, and when his grandmother was killed, Madara decided to continue with his plans and left Minato in the village. So Madara was still alive. "Who would have thought Madara had a son?" the Hokage said, taking in the information. "Well Naruto-kun, I will guard this secret until you are ready to show everyone who you really are. Remember, you have 3 legacies to continue. Your mother's Uzumaki clan, and both your father's and Uchiha Madara's legacy," he said. "Don't worry Gigi. I plan on revealing everything when I'm strong enough to protect me and everyone I care about. My father and grandfather both had a talent to Pisaviwa and I don't need problems right now," he said, chuckling. That they did. The Hokage thought how he was suffered at the hands of both Minato Namikaze and Uchiha Madara. "But when I reveal who I am, if they ever try to hurt me or someone I care about, I will burn the village to the ground," Naruto said in serious and cold tone. "I wouldn't put it past them, that damn Aniki, that Tsuchikage is an old and stubborn fool." "Be careful," the Hokage said. "Naruto, I wanted to ask you, how can you already fully matured Sharingan? It's very rare to even awaken it too early in life." "You see Gigi, I awakened it when I was 5 years old after some Chunin tried to attack me, and I matured it when I killed the Kumo ninja that tried to kidnap Hinata," he explained, to which the Hokage nodded. It made sense. The Sharingan awakens and evolves in life and death situations. So that's how you were able to keep up with the Jonin. The Sharingan truly is a terrifying power, the Hokage exclaimed. "The Sharingan allowed a 6-year-old to kill a trained shinobi?" "I'm going Gigi, I just thought you should know after what happened to the Uchihas," Naruto said, leaving the Hokage's office. "He will one day really take this hat from me," the Hokage thought, chuckling. Konoha streets. Naruto was walking through the streets of Konoha, going to a training field to find out and start training his elemental affinities. He already knew that most likely he would have fire from the Uchiha blood, but he could have more or not even fire. Better safe than sorry. Naruto was walking peacefully, keeping himself in the shadows not to have problems, until he heard someone crying. Checking so see who was it, he noticed it was Hinata. She had her knees to her chest and was crying. Naruto quickly rushed to her side. "Hinata-chan, what's wrong? Why are you crying?" he asked, worried to help her. Hinata, seeing Naruto, quickly hugged him, crying even more. Naruto tried to ask what was wrong, but she didn't answer. Naruto started whispering comforting words, saying it would be alright, until she fell asleep in his chest, tired from crying. Naruto picked her up bridal style and took her to his apartment. He laid her in his bed, took a chair and sit by her side. Grabbing her hand, he fell asleep minutes later. After a few hours, it was late at night, around 2 a.m. Hinata started to wake up, opening her eyes not knowing where she jumped up, awakening Naruto, who was by her side. Seeing that he was by her side, she couldn't help but blush until she remembered everything that happened yesterday. "Hinata-chan, what happened? You can tell me, I will help," Naruto said, trying his best to help her. Hinata was looking at the ground, sad. She decided to tell him everything and started to remove a piece of cloth that was tied to her forehead. She removed it, showing a green tattoo. It was the cage bird seal. Naruto, seeing this, was shocked. They branded the heiress of the clan. "My FF father s said IWW as to W week to be the heiress of the clan, so HEB branded me and disavowed F from the Hyuga C clan," she said, looking at the ground. Naruto was furious. How could they do that to family? Branding, it's a despicable decision, but to remove a member and even his daughter from the clan for being weak. "It's okay Hinata-chan, you are not weak and you have me," he said, slightly blushing. "But I'm weak. I was almost kidnapped. I was the same age as you and you managed to save me. I'm nothing more than a loser," she replied, crying and yelling, letting all her anger and frustration out. "No, Hinata, you are not weak. You are a kind, loyal, hardworking and a beautiful person," he said, getting blush from her. "Look at me," he said, taking his hand to her chin and raising her head. They locked eyes and he continued. "I'm hated by everyone in the village. They all call me demon and try to hurt me. To them I'm nothing more than a loser that shouldn't even be allowed to live, but I don't give up and I never surrender. That my Nindo, and one day I will prove to them that I'm strong," he exclaimed, getting a smile from her. "Is it because of the KQB?" she asked. She knew it would be sore subject. "How do you know?" Naruto asked, stuttering, a bit shocked. She knew. "Well, When I use the Byakugan I can see the red chakra in your gun and father told me stay away from you, and the villagers call you demon, so I did a bit of research, she said. Do you hate me? Naruto asked, wondering if he would lose his only friend. No, of course not. I know that you aren't the Kyuubi. You are a kind, cheerful and brave person, she said, hugging him. Naruto felt a tremendous weight leaving his shoulders. Hinata, let's work hard and prove to them that letting you go was the worst decision they could ever make. If you want I'll help you, he said. Really? She asked hopefully. Of course, I take care of the people I care about and love, Naruto said with a blush, lightly bending forward and softly kissing her in the lips. Hinata didn't expect that, but she also loved him, so she returned the kiss, gently moving her lips. She couldn't be happier. Her best friend, her crush, her love was kissing her and saying he loved her. Naruto couldn't be happier when Hinata returned the kiss. He thought that she never would like him more than friends. Slowly backing up and ending the kiss, they were both blushing. Hinata quickly hugged him and said between sobs, Naruto-kun, thank you, I love you too. I promise, Hinata. She blushed at the affectionate name, that I will one day remove that seal. I promise that I'll protect you and together we will show the village what a couple of losers can do, Naruto exclaimed, giving her his foxy grin and kissing her cheek until she fainted. Well, that lasted longer than I thought, he said, laughing. Couple weeks later. A couple of days after Naruto found Hinata, he asked if she would like to live with him, to which she accepted, and they began to do everything together, living, eating and training. They would even sleep cuddled together. Naruto taught Hinata the Kage Bushin and even thought she could only make one, it was enough. They started sending them to the academy except in days where there was Taijutsu training. Naruto also took Hinata to the Hokage and explained everything that happened. To say that the Hokage was pissed was an understatement, but since she was considered an orphan now, Sarutobi agreed to give her a month allowance until they became genin. Naruto suggested Hinata that they kept their connection a secret until they were older. He didn't want the villagers to give her the same treatment he receives. In the academy each took their different seats to not arouse suspicion. And so they started sending Kage Bushin to the academy and training together. Hinata during the last days got to meet the Kyuubi, and when she found him with the gates open she fainted. Now we find the couple in a training ground. Naruto pulled chakra paper and gave one to Hinata. Okay Hinata, this is chakra paper, it's used to test elemental affinities, just push chakra to it and we will see, explained Naruto. Pushing chakra to his paper, it crumbled altogether, showing a high affinity for lightning element. Then the paper split in two and burst into flames. See, I have 3 affinities. My primary seems lightning and secondaries wind and fire, he said, as he already suspected fire and lightning from his father. After all, he was an Uchiha and his Hirashin is a Raiten technique, so the wind must come from my mother. It was a shame that he didn't have any defensive element, but he could always create his own techniques. Hinata pushed chakra to her paper and it split in two, getting both sides wet. Looks like you have wind like me and also water. Now then, let's start training. I'll start with fire since our village is known for them. You should start with water because wind is extremely rare in Konoha, he explained, and both started the usual way. Naruto made 100 Kage Bushins and tried to burn a leaf and Hinata getting it wet. Naruto and Hinata both went to the library in Henges. They didn't want any problems and got a few techniques for each of their natures. Naruto decided to go into the Uchiha compound since the Uchiha were known for their fire techniques, and with the Sharingan they should have plenty of techniques for all elements. Well, actually they would be breaking into a clan library and stealing techniques, but Naruto was an Uchiha so he should have access to them. Outside the Uchiha compound late night, both Naruto and Hinata stood outside the Uchiha compound dressed purely in black. Naruto had his Sharingan active as well, Hinata's Byakugan to check for any other shinobis. Making their way through the gates and into the library that was located in the main house, they spotted their classmate Sasuke, who was awake. They quickly got behind him and knocked him out with a chop to the neck and made their way to the library. The library was huge to say the least, as expected from a power-hungry clan with copying eyes. The library was divided into sections: ninja arts, clan history, records, and diaries. Both of them made their way to the shinobi section, and it had ninjutsu, taijutsu, and genjutsu sections. The ninjutsu section was divided in elements: fire element, water element, earth element, wind element, lightning element, and non-elemental techniques. Each of this section was sub-divided and had scrolls on how to learn each of these manipulations, but also techniques of various ranks. They started going through a few scrolls until Hinata said they are all blank, she said, getting a confused look from Naruto. Naruto could easily see the instructions for the jutsus until he discovered it. I get it, only someone with a Sharingan can read the contents of the scrolls, To anyone else they seem empty. It's a neat trick actually, he said, getting a frown from Hinata. Don't worry, I'll read them all and teach you the water jutsu I find, he said, making 20 kage bushin and started going through the techniques. Fire element. Katen, Gokaku no Jutsu Crank. Sends a massive fireball to the enemy. Katen, Hosenka no Jutsu Crank. Sends small fireballs to the enemy that burn on contact. Katen, Ryuka no Jutsu C rank. Sends a torrent of fire shaped in the form of a dragon towards the enemy. Katen, Goryuka no Jutsu B rank. Sends a torrent of fire shaped in the form of a dragon towards the enemy. Improved version of Ryuka no Jutsu. Katen, Karyudan no Jutsu B rank. Created by Sundaime Hokage. Sends a volley of small fireballs that melt anything or explode on contact. Katen, Zukaku no Jutsu B rank. Sends a fireball to the ground that explodes, creating massive heat wave. Katen, Haze Kishu no Jutsu B rank. Sends a stream of chakra-empowered gunpowder and surrounds the enemy. The user can ignite the cloud by clicking its teeth, creating great explosion. Water element. Mizubunshin no Jutsu, B rank. Creates a water clone with 10% of the original strength. Mizu Shuriken Bunshin no Jutsu, Drank. Creates and sends to the enemy water-formed shurikens, the numbers varies with the amount of chakra. Mizu no Muchi C rank. The user creates a whip of water that can restrain or do the damage to the enemy. Suten, Suishu Ha A rank. The user expels large quantities of water through his mouth that crashed onto the enemy. Suten, Baku Suishu Ha's rank. Improved version of Suten, Suishu Ha. Suten, Daibakufu no Jutsu A rank. Creates a waterfall that then crashes down onto the enemy. Suten, Suryuden no Jutsu B rank. Creates a water dragon that captures and smashes the enemy into the ground. Suten, Suijin Haki C rank. Creates a defensive water wall. Suten, Suru no Jutsu C rank. Creates a sphere of water that traps the enemy within, preventing their escape. Suten, Tepoudama C rank. The user launches couple of water bullets to the enemy. Earth element. Tsuchi Bunshin no Jutsu C rank. Creates an earth bushin. Doten, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu D rank. The user grabs the enemy from underground and emerges from it, burying the enemy. Doten, Doryu Dan B rank. The user sends many earth bullets to the target. Doten, Doryu Taiga B rank. The user creates a mud rivers that crashed into the enemy. Doten, Yomi Nume rank. The user transforms the ground into a swamp that swallows and crushes the enemy. Doten, Doryuaki C rank. The user creates an earth wall for defense. Doten, Domu C rank. The user creates earth spears that emerge from under the enemy. Wind element. Fuuten no Jutsu C rank. The user breathes and releases a small wind that allows for reposition while mid-air. Fuuten, Daitapa C rank. The user exhales a powerful and compressed gust of air that blows the enemy away. Fuuten, Kaze Shuriken B rank. The user envelops his own shurikens with a wind layer that slices through everything. Fuuten, Rinku Den A rank. The user creates bullets of pressurized air that are shot at the enemy. Fuuten, Shenku A rank. The user exhales a wind-like blade that slices through anything. Fuuten, Atsugai A rank. The user exhales large sphere of pressurized air that explodes on contact. Fuuten, Repiso C rank. The user claps his hands together and unleashed a powerful wave of air, not needing to inhale. Lightning element. Raiten, Reikyu C rank. The user creates a ball of lightning that is hurled at the enemy, shocking him. Raiten, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu rank. A shadow clone created with lightning chakra. When destroyed, this chakra is transferred to the enemy, shocking him. Raiten, John B rank. The user emits a lightning spear from his hand that impales the enemy. Raiten, Jaibashi, B rank. The user creates a wave of electricity that shocks everything around. Raiten Reikachi B rank. An illusion technique that blinds the enemy with bright light. Genjutsu. Kokwang Ayu no Jutsu A rank. The user traps the enemy with a black void, blinding the enemy and dulling other senses. This illusion cannot be disrupted, only the user cancels it or is forced to release it. Megan, Jigoku Guka no Jutsu rank, creates an illusion that makes the enemy think he is being burned alive. Megan, Jubaku Satsubi rank, illusion technique that grows a tree behind the enemy, freezing him place and allowing for the user to attack the enemy. Megan, Keisuke no Jutsu C rank. The user locks eyes with the enemy, effectively paralyzing him in place. Sharingan required. Megan, Kokoni Arazu no Jutsu Crank. The user cast an illusion over an area altering its appearance. Megan, Niju Kokoni Arazu no Jutsu B rank. This technique places an illusion within the original illusion to mislead the enemy should he break the first one. Okay Hinata-chan, I've got most of them memorized, let's go, he said, and both left the Uchiha compound with a large inventory of techniques to later practice. They left the compound and were walking home. It was still early or late depending on the perspective. It was around 2 a.m. Hey Hinata-chan, since we still have time, do you want to check out the Hyuga clan library too? Naruto asked. He knew it was a sore subject, Hinata's family. He still remembered to help Hinata achieve one of her dreams. Couple days after Hinata started living with Naruto and Hinata were eating together after their morning workout and started talking about their dreams and hopes for the future. So Hinata-chan, what are your dreams for the future? Naruto asked. Hinata was still a bit shy around him, but it was starting to change. At least her stuttering and fainting was gone, almost. I know I want to become a powerful kunoichi to prove that I'm not weak. But, even though I was disavowed from my clan, I wish I could get rid of Caged Bird Seal and unite the families. I know I may sound naive, but even after my father expelling from the clan, the branch family were always good to me and I want to help them back, she said with confidence. She didn't know it yet, but Naruto's personality was starting to rub on her. She was becoming more confident and even started helping Naruto in his pranks. You are not naive. You are a kind person and I did promise to remove your seal, and when I do we can plan to help the branch family, he exclaimed. After all, with the help of his Kage Bushins and his father's notes on Ninjutsu, Naruto was progressing rather nicely. I don't know if it's a good idea. I would be hard to sneak in unnoticed, she said. After all, the Byakugan was frequently used for scouting missions and was extremely difficult to sneak up into a Hyuga member, much less break into the compound. Oh please, they all say they have the all-seeing eye, but that didn't stop me from breaking into the compound and placing hitching powder on their underwear, Naruto said, remembering the laughs the Hyuga received when they were constantly scratching themselves. That was you? She asked, surprised. Of course, they always were stuck-up pricks, but I didn't do it to you, he said, assuring her. Okay, if you are sure we can sneak in, then I'm in, she said. They made their way to the Hyuga compound and watched from afar. Naruto extended his sensing ability and found 4 guards guarding the entrances. Thankfully they didn't have the Byakugan activated. They made their way closer to the walls and waited for the guard to end his routine check. They channeled chakra to their feet and climbed the wall. Once inside, Hinata guided Naruto to the library, since Naruto didn't actually know the compound all that well. Once inside the library, the same thing happened in the Uchihas, only a Byakugan user could read the scrolls. Apparently ninjutsu and genjutsu were practically non-existent. They must have thought it was inferior to rely on anything else other than their bloodline. Hinata quickly opened the scrolls and started copying them and giving them to Naruto, which he was storing them in a storage seal he brought. Naruto's Fuinjutsu was quite good for his age. He knew how to make simple storage scrolls of all kinds and was starting on medium-level Fuinjutsu. They left the compound with the specifics of the gentle fist style, which Hinata already knew the basics and the techniques they used. Haki Kushu, 8 divination signs air palm. The user concentrates chakra on his palm and thrust it forward, sending a chakra wave to the enemy. Haki Rakuju Ianchao, 8 divination signs, 64 palms of the hand. The user closes the main 64 tenketsus of the enemy at an amazing speed. Haki Hyakuna Wuhachizu, 8 divination signs, 128 palms of the hand, similar to the previous technique, however it closes 128 points, knocking out the enemy almost instantly. Hakazu Kaiten, 8 divination palms of the hand, heavenly spin. The user starts spinning and releasing chakra from all his tenketsu, forms a protective dome around him that deflects all attacks. It's considered the Hyuga ultimate defense. Armed with new techniques, they started training with more, mostly Hinata. She wanted to master the Hyuga gentle fist to later in life prove to them that with hard work one can outclass a genius. A couple of years have passed and Naruto and Hinata have grown quite a bit. They were now both 10 years old and each of them were slightly taller than kids of the same age due to their constant training. Both Naruto and Hinata were very strong when compared to others of their age, if you could even compare. In the academy, physical shinobi conditioning and training only start when the students are 12 years old, in which they learn the academy taijutsu style coupled with ninjutsu. If they were to face Naruto or Hinata, they would get demolished. They were both well-rounded shinobi, however Naruto still couldn't cast a low-level genjutsu without Sharingan to save his life. Actually, he found it easier to cast high-ranking genjutsus that required more chakra than low-level ones. Even though Naruto focused a lot in chakra control bringing it to Jonin levels, he still couldn't do a single Bushin. He either did at least 50 or the one will fail. Naruto finally mastered bow staff but decided to learn Kenjutsu since his mother was one of the best in the leaf. Since he couldn't get in most shops, he bought couple of books in weapons forging. Since he had fire nature, he decided to forge his own weapons with scrap metal and other weapons he found in training fields. In time he would buy chakra metal for a proper sword. In fact, both of them learned Kenjutsu in the same style. However, Naruto favored speed and strength, and Hinata, being more flexible, preferred to dodge the strikes. This type of Kenjutsu style, much like his Taijutsu, was based on parrying or dodging the attacks with quick strikes meant to end the battle in one strike. This was the Kenjutsu style of the Uzumaki clan. Uzumaki Kushina before her death was on par with the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. This group was composed by the greatest swordsmen of the mist and were not to be underestimated. In fact, each of their swords had special abilities that favored each of their styles. Kushina in fact was known as Konoha's Red Death due to her crimson red hair color. Naruto also learned the gentle fist with Hinata and both practiced until perfected. Even though Naruto's Sharingan couldn't see the chakra points, he adapted the style for pressure points. One of the problems they had was Hinata's low chakra pool, so they focused on that for almost last year and managed to increase her levels quite a bit. She had low Jonin chakra levels and cage level control. Naruto had high cage chakra levels and Jonin level control. Naruto realized that Hinata was actually quite proficient in the gentle fist and asked her why did their family treat that badly when she was quite talented. The fact was that in order to learn the gentle fist effectively and train their stances and techniques, one would have to use another as test subject, and closing tenketsus was quite painful, so Hinata refused to the branch members. Hinata was too kind to even try and harm someone in order to train, but with Naruto that wasn't a problem. Naruto used the shadow clone techniques to provide Hinata as much guinea pigs as she wanted, and doing so her technique skyrocketed and she even managed to hold her ground against Naruto in Taijutsu. In Ninjutsu they both mastered their chosen affinities and the jutsu they had. Hinata started in wind and Naruto started in lightning. One interesting fact was that Naruto discovered was that he had high lightning affinity similar to Nidame's water affinity. In fact, Naruto wasn't really a sensor in the normal terms since he didn't sense chakra. Naruto, due to his lightning affinity, could actually feel the bioelectricity of the people around him. Knowing that he had such an affinity, he started investing more and more in this element. He went to his father's library and gathered all the lightning techniques that he could. Now we find Naruto walking through the village heading for the Hokage tower. The villagers still sent the usual glares and they would still try and harm him, but now with his training he managed to escape. He could have fought them, but he chose not to harm them. He didn't want to give the poor Hokage more paperwork. Hokage tower. He arrived at the Hokage tower and made his way up. Arriving at the Hokage's office, he turned to the secretary. He never liked her and the feeling was mutual. She was one of the idiotic civilians who couldn't tell the difference between a scroll and sealed kunai. Just let it go, kid, someday they will understand, the Kyuubi said. Naruto nodded inwardly. Good morning, I came to talk with the Hokage, is he available? Naruto asked politely as he for once didn't want trouble. She looked up and saw that thing in front of her and with a disgusting face said, what would the Hokage want with a thing like you? She spat. You should be careful on how you address me, one wrong word and I have permission to separate your head from your shoulders, he said in a serious tone while releasing a bit of ki as she was a civilian and too much could kill her. The Hokage will see you now, she quickly said, fearing for her life while showing a false smile. Naruto opened the door to see a smiling face of the Hokage. Naruto-kun, how have you been? The Hokage asked. I'm fine, actually I have a favor to ask you, he said, to which the Hokage raised an eyebrow. I'll do my best. What do you need? He said. Well, you see, I'm ruining a bit low on cash this month and I know that I'm not a shinobi yet, but would it possible for me to get a couple of D ranks? He said, looking at the Hokage's thinking face. The Hokage pondered the situation. Genins always hate these missions and they tend to stockpile, besides it couldn't hurt, he thought. Sure Naruto-kun, but you do realize that these missions are normally done with a Jonin sensei and their Genin squad, so they will take long for you, he said. No problem, old man, I can create my own army if I need. Naruto said, placing his fingers in a cross form, channeling some chakra, and in a puff of smoke 20 clones appeared in the office. The Hokage jaw hit the floor seeing a 10-year-old pull a brank Kinjutsu. Where did you learn that? You do realize that techniques is a Kinjutsu for its massive chakra usage, he said, trying to make Naruto understand the dangers of the technique. Relax Gigi, I copied it when I was watching Kakashi and a weird guy named Guy in green spandex shouting something about flames of youth spar. Besides, I have a crap ton of chakra, I can easily make 1,000 clones and still be in fighting condition, he said with a smirk. The Hokage nodded slowly. Kami, he can make 1,000 clones at 10 years old. I know he's a Jinchuriki, but damn, he will be a chakra powerhouse, he thought. Okay Naruto, since you still aren't an official ninja, I'll give you the missions, and later when you become one I'll add them to your file. Come with me to the mission room, the Hokage said, and they both left the Hokage's office heading towards the mission room. Konoha's mission room. So, let's see what we got here, the Hokage said, going through the available missions. How many do you want? Seeing as you can create a bunch of clones, I think you might be able to clear our workload, the Hokage continued. Naruto pondered. Give me 10 missions, if I have time today I'll do a few more. Besides, Hinata decided to go visit Kurenai, so I'll have the day for the missions, Naruto said, picking the scrolls and opening the first. Damn cat, Naruto thought as he read the first mission. It was to retrieve a fearsome beast. The name of said beast was Tora, the one-tailed demon cat. Oh please, I got 8 more tails, Kyuubi said. Besides, we can always burn her a crisp and blame enemy ninja, Kyuubi said, chuckling, and Naruto's sweat dropped. Few hours later. Come here Tora, here kitty, Naruto said, trying to approach the cat without having her fleeing. Naruto channeled chakra to his legs and jumped, catching the cat. Tora didn't find it much fun as she started clawing him all over the place. Oh hell, I'm tired of this, Naruto said, activating his Sharingan. He looked at Tora and said, Megan, Keisuke no Jutsu. The Genjutsu paralyzed Tora, and Naruto said, Megan, Jigoku Guka no Jutsu. This new Genjutsu made Tora think she was being burned alive. Muwahaha, Naruto chuckled evilly as Tora screamed in pain. Kyuubi, seeing this, sweat dropped and thought, I got a dumbass for a container. Next mission, helping farmer. Naruto made his way for his next mission. He read the scroll, and the mission was to cultivate a piece of land since the farmer didn't have enough time to do it himself. Naruto arrived at the site. The farmer's house was actually almost outside of the village, and the land itself was fairly big. Judging from the size of the land, it most likely was for planting the vegetables and later selling them. Naruto approached the client and started doing his job. The client didn't seem happy. They sent the demon brat, but at least the Kyuubi would working for him. Almost an hour was due, and Naruto continued his work using a hoe to groom the land peacefully and undisturbed until slam. A noise echoed through the clearing as the sound of metal clashing. Naruto removed a couple inches of dirt until he saw a metal door in the ground. What the hell is this? Naruto thought as he moved to open the hatch. Once opened, he saw a bunch of stairs that seemingly lead underground. As a curious kid he carefully made his way down. As he was going down, he couldn't help but notice the smell. One of the things of having the Kyuubi inside of him was that it gave enhanced senses, primarily smell and hearing. The smell itself was of death and putrefaction. Something isn't right here, Naruto thought as he began to explore what appeared a vast underground base with a long corridor with multiple rooms connected. Checking a few rooms, even him couldn't help himself but to throw up. In one of the rooms of skeletons of people and a few others still decomposing. Going in further and checking another room, he could see vials spread along the table with strange colored liquids, and he wisely decided it would be best not to touch them. As he continued exploring the base, he kept wondering how could this exist here and be kept a secret. Judging by the looks of it, it seemed that whoever lived here left in a hurry. This smell. Snakes, Naruto was thinking when suddenly he pieced together the facts. He read in the library about a shinobi that used snakes as summons and defected Konoha after was found doing twisted experiments with children that he kidnapped. Orochimaru, the snake Sanin, Naruto concluded, and made a shadow clone and said, go tell the old man. The clone left and Naruto continued exploring, gazing into the rooms so he could have a brief idea of what it contained. One of the rooms appeared to be a small study room. Entering the room and making his way to the table, he saw a few seals and a multitude of vials of blood with various names in them: Senju Hashiramakama Senju, Tobiramakama Namikaze Minato, and few others Naruto didn't recognize. What could possibly Orochimaru want the blood of my father, not to mention the Senju brothers? Naruto kept wondering until he saw a few notes written in what it seemed to be a diary. He continued reading until that twisted bastard. Hokage office. Hiruzen was having a normal day in his office, and by normal I say he was cursing Minato for leaving him with the paperwork, when suddenly he saw Naruto bursting through the door. Old man, Naruto started. I think I found one of Orochimaru's old bases, to which the Hokage yelled, what? I was doing one of the missions and I was cultivating a field until I hit a metal hatch. After opening it and checking inside, it reeked of snakes and there were dead bodies all over, Naruto said. Anbu, the Hokage said, and in front of him appeared an Anbu with a weasel mask. kneeling before the Hokage and waiting for orders. "Bring me a Viki and Enko." "Hi, Hokage-sama," the Onba said and vanished in a puff of smoke. The Hokage turned to Naruto. "Naruto, are the original?" To which Naruto shook his head negatively. "Boss is in checking the rest of the base and making sure no one enters it," the close responded. "Then tell him to continue guarding the entrance until Enko and Ibiki arrive, then tell him to come here immediately after," the Hokage said, getting a nod before the clone dispelled. Orochimaru base. Naruto was still going through the base until the memories of the clone hit him and he stopped and gathered what he was doing and made his way to the entrance. Naruto waited a couple of minutes before a man and woman dropped in front of him. The man was about 193 centimeters, had wore traditional black hanbu pants and a black jacket. He also wore a long-sleeved black jacket and a scarf that covered the top of his head. The man had a few scars on his face. Naruto recognized him from a couple of pranks he pulled. He was Morino Ibiki, a Tokubutsu Jonin and the commander of Konoha's torture and interrogation force. Besides, Ibiki was a woman who had approximately 167 centimeters. She wore a full-body mesh armor with a short brown skirt and a long trench coat that barely covered her D-cup breasts. She had purple pineapple-style hair and brown eyes. Naruto assumed that this woman was Enko. Naruto, facing both of them, turned towards the woman and said, "I assume you are Enko." "I'm the sexy and single Mitarashi Enko," she exclaimed, pumping her fist in the air, to which Naruto's sweat dropped. "I was doing a D rank and came across this base, and after exploring it I concluded it belonged to Orochimaru, so I informed the Hokage. My work is done, knock yourself out," Naruto said and left towards the Hokage's office. Hokage's office. Naruto arrived at the Hokage's office and saw him with a saddened and thoughtful look. Naruto assumed it had to do with Orochimaru. After all, he was one of Hiruzen's most prized students, a genius that comes once in a lifetime. However, he got caught in his own ambitions. "I'm here, old man," Naruto said, getting the Hokage's attention. "I don't even know if this should be called luck or not," the Hokage said, sighing. Was Naruto's genius of an answer. "You said that you were low on cash and wanted a few drinks missions, and you end up finding one of my old students' laboratory." Naruto nodded and the Hokage continued, "Since you found it, I'm upgrading the mission to S rank. You are never to speak of it, and everything you found and saw inside you are never to reveal. Are we clear?" the Hokage said in serious and demanding tone. "Hi, Hokage-sama," Naruto replied as if he was a usual shinobi that brought a small smile to the man's face. "I would call it luck," Naruto said, grinning. "Well then, I'm gonna get going. See you later, Gigi," he said, and the Hokage nodded. Once Naruto left the room, the Hokage leaned back in his chair, lost in his thoughts. The wonders of D ranks, the Hokage thought, chuckling to himself. He got out of his thought and got back to work. The Hokage looked at the amount of paperwork and yelled, "Damn you, Minato oh." 4 years later. The sun is just starting to appear and shine above Konoha. People are starting to open their shops for another ordinary day. However, to some people this is no ordinary day, if you can say so. 4 long years have passed and now both Naruto and Hinata are 14 years old, and today is graduation day. During these last 4 years their growth was tremendous, and if we were to estimate their current level of power, one can say that in terms of skill Hinata's Taijutsu is Kage level, same as Naruto's Ninjutsu and Taijutsu. However, if we were to be realistic, their Taijutsu is Jonin level because, even though they both use gravity seals to increase strength and speed, their bodies are still developing and can't compete against adults with also lacking experience. However, these rules do not apply to Ninjutsu, even less Naruto. With his massive chakra reserves that dwarf even the Hokage of the Leaf and reasonable control. In fact, Naruto must constantly train chakra control because of his ever-increasing reserves. In fact, Naruto is a chakra powerhouse in terms of ninjutsu, with his high affinity for lightning coupled with fire and wind natures, all of them offensive ones. There isn't much of an obstacle Naruto can surpass. In the last 4 years Hinata has become master of her own taijutsu style derived from the gentle fist, to which she calls flowing fist, which, much like the name says, Hinata, due to her natural flexibility, flows through the enemy, dodging all offensive attacks while closing the enemy's chakra points. Even though her own taijutsu style is extremely strong, she still is very proficient in the original gentle fist. In Naruto's case, his taijutsu style is very different. He trained his father's style and mastered it. However, if the enemy had some sort of shield, attacking the enemy pressure points would be pointless. So Naruto developed his very own style, combining the best offensive style of the Goken and pressure point damage with the defensive style of the Uchiha's interceptor fist, creating what he called Dragon Fist. However, he can add one small twist, if you can call it that. Naruto, after his training in lightning, managed to envelop his own fists and foots in a coat of lightning chakra, which if makes contact with the enemy can either massively increase the power of the strike or send the lightning chakra to the enemy's chakra circulatory system to effectively numb the area of the hit. This Taijutsu style is called Raken. Actually, since both Naruto and Hinata have wind affinity, they can create invisible chakra wind blades in their fingers. Invisible to anyone without Taijutsu, of course. Using this technique they can inflict damage to wherever they hit, damaging their muscles and disabling the enemy. In the ninjutsu department, one can say Naruto is a monster. With his 3 affinities completely mastered and all of them offensive, Naruto is a force to be reckoned with. His arsenal contains a vast amount of techniques for every affinity, including a few creations of his own. Even though Hinata has high chakra levels if compared to anyone her age, she has Jonin level chakra reserves when she began in. Her advantage over Naruto comes from extreme high chakra control, rivaling Tsunade herself. Due to her control, Sei learned a few medicinal jutsus for self-healing if necessary, since Naruto has the fox's chakra. Going for the genjutsu section, let's just say the Naruto sucks at it. The only genjutsu Naruto is even able to cast without the Sharingan activated is Kokwangayu no Jutsu, a genjutsu created by the Nidaime Hokage and considered a kinjutsu due to the fact that even after activated it continues to drain chakra constantly. If we check Hinata, to her control she can pretty much use all genjutsu she knows but restrains from using the Kokwangayu no Jutsu, since she can't spend such amount of chakra. In the weapons section, both of them are extremely masterful with kunais, shurikens and senbon, but also kenjutsu. Naruto named the style he and Hinata learned Ise no Ryuken. Since the fact their shinobi life is about to begin, Naruto had previously forged their own swords. Naruto's sword was a chokudo created with chakra metal for his lightning affinity. It was 20 inches long without hilt. The handle was dark orange with black stripes and in the center the Uzumaki swirl. Hinata has a similar sword, being the handle in lavender color. In Fuinjutsu, Naruto truly honors the Uzumaki clan. His ingenuity in the art of Fuinjutsu truly is amazing. Naruto is officially a level 10 seal master. Level 10 of 10. Actually, Naruto even has some of his own creations and is currently working on his father's Hiroshin technique. However, the Shiki formula of the Hiroshin must be created for its own user, so Naruto cannot use his father's kunais. Since the Shiki formula is tied to the user's blood, Naruto has to admit that his father truly was magnificent in creating such a simple yet complex technique. Hinata also has training in Fuinjutsu but not so extensive as Naruto, since Naruto used his shadow clone army to pretty much devour every book. In fact, I believe that Naruto managed to read almost every book in the library. One might not believe it, but Naruto focused a lot of shadow clones in politics and laws of Konoha, since he would have to, one day, put up with the council. In the last section we have medical training. Neither of them have extensive medical training. Hinata can use a few simple techniques to heal superficial wounds. However, both of them have pretty good grasp of poisons and antidotes, but also human anatomy. It's in here that the senbon come into play. Naruto can use senbon to mix with his pressure point taijutsu if necessary, but also coat the senbon with paralyzing or killing poison of his own creation. All in all, both Naruto and Hinata are extremely skilled and resourceful shinobi, even though they are actually civilians. However, any civilian that can use chakra can be considered a shinobi. Graduation day, Naruto's house. The sun was coming up, its beams breaking through the window. Naruto was peacefully sleeping but began to stir as the sun started shining through the room. Looking down, he saw what most likely was an angel. Hinata was sleeping with her head in his chest, the sun hitting her pale skin making her glow almost like a goddess. Kissing her in the forehead, she started to stir and yawning. Tempted to open her eyes, she noticed a hand slowly caressing her hair. She knew it was Naruto. She didn't want to leave his warmth and tried to snuggle closer to him, burying her face in his chest. Naruto, seeing this, chuckled. "Hina-chan," he started, "we have to get up, don't forget it's graduation day," he said as he made a kage bushin to go make breakfast. "I don't want to get up," she pouted. "You are required to be my pillow," she stated, to which he smirked. Pulling her chin up, he slowly placed a kiss in her lips, waking up his sleeping beauty. "Come on now, Haim," he said, rolling both of them with him on top of her. He placed a few kisses along her neck, making her giggle. "Fine," she said, finally agreeing with the blonde. Getting up and starting to get dressed. "Hina-chan, it's time," he said, and Hinata nodded. Today was the day their masks would come off. They were more than powerful enough to protect themselves and let the world see who they really were. Of course they wouldn't show off to the world, but the dead last, Dobby, loudmouth blonde, and the shy and kind Hinata were no more. Naruto now was about 165 centimeters and had 2 fangs of blonde hair that framed his face. He wore orange baggy pants with black flames in the bottom with white strapping in his right leg. He had white jacket with orange endings and mid-length black sleeves. In the back of the jacket it had kanji for 9. He wore black fingerless gloves with metal on the back of the hand and in each wrist bracelets with storage seals for kunai, shuriken, senbon and his sword and small belt with numerous other scrolls. Anyone who saw him now wouldn't even recognize him. Hinata was slightly shorter than him, but if we would compare to the rest of the class she was one of the tallest person there. She wore black pants with white strappings holding kunai pouch and a white bulky jacket with white fur. She also has a lavender piece of cloth tied in her forehead, a gift from Naruto. "You look handsome, Naruto-kun," she said in a sweet voice that sent shivers to the blonde. "Boss, breakfast is ready," the clone said and brought milk and cereals, bacon and eggs for breakfast. They both silently ate and started preparing for the last day in the academy. Thank Kami, Naruto thought. After breakfast both left the house and headed towards the academy. Hinata was wrapped around Naruto's right arm. It didn't matter anymore who saw them. It was the beginning of their shinobi careers. The walk was rather calm. Many of the villagers didn't even recognize Naruto. Arriving at the academy they realized it was a bit earlier. They made their way to the back of the classroom and sit waiting for their classmates and sensei. Soon after their arrival the classroom started filling and moments later entered the almighty Uchiha Sasuke, followed of course by his horde of horny fangirls. Sasuke scanned the room and spotted both Hinata and someone with her. Discarding it he made his way to the first row and took the seat by the windows so he could gaze outside when bored. Moments later Umino Iruka walked thought the door. Said person had black pants and standard chunin flat jacket. He had brown hair tied in a ponytail and large scar across his nose. "Good morning class," he said. Checking the classroom and noticing he didn't get their attention he used his patented big head jutsu and yelled silence. Everyone quieted down. Iruka started calling his students to mark their presence, until he reached Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto was about to answer when another one beat him to it. "Looks like Dobby of failing again," Sasuke said getting laughs from everyone. "Are you all blind?" a voice from the back of the classroom said. Getting everyone attention and looking at him like he was a ghost he said yo waving his hand present, "Iruka-sensei." Everyone was blinking at said person still processing that he was Naruto. "And Naruto, the pink banshee asked. "The one and only," he said with his foxy grin. The whole class looked at the new look and was a vast improvement over the old one. Gotta say the new outfit looked pretty good. Iruka snapped over the surprise and finished his list. As you all know Iruka started today as your graduation exam. At the end of the today those who pass will become shinobi of the leaf. We will start with written exam, followed by weapons, taijutsu and finally ninjutsu. "Now let's begin," Iruka said and started handing out the exams. As he got near Naruto a discreet smile appeared in Mizuki. Mizuki was Iruka's assistant and like many others he hated the demon brat and tried everything so he could fail and have his revenge. Naruto sensed something strange about his exam and discreetly activated his Sharingan and discovered a well-placed genjutsu in his test. Making a half-tiger hand seal and saying in his mind Kai, the genjutsu dispelled and showed the real exam that Naruto started filling and after 20 minutes he was already done as was Hinata and both waited for the rest of the class. "Okay class, time's up," Iruka said and Mizuki got up and started collecting the exams. After which the class moved to the training field for the weapons exam. "Alright class, you have here 10 kunai and 10 shuriken that you must throw and hit the marks," Iruka explained and started calling names and each of the students moved forward for the evaluation. "Uchiha Sasuke," Iruka called and suddenly every fangirl was yelling Sasuke is the best, "Go Sasuke show them." Hinata seeing this rolled her eyes and thought and they called themselves shinobi, Sasuke doesn't even care about them. Sasuke picked up the weapons and expertly threw them at the same time like the elite he was. Every single kunai hit dead center in the dummies as well most of the shuriken except one that missed the high scoring area. "Well done Sasuke, you got 19 out of 20, Iruka said and the fangirl group went wild. Sasuke was going back to his place and bumping Naruto said beat that Dobby. "Uzumaki Naruto," Iruka called. The blonde simply took the weapons and realized that they were blunt, simply shrugging it off and discreetly channeling a bit of lightning chakra through them so they would stick to the dummy. He threw them all at the same time hitting every single target dead center. Iruka eyes widened. "Gee good job Naruto, you got perfect score 20 out of 20 Iruka said congratulating him. The fangirls of course started yelling that Naruto cheated and Sasuke simply scowled the blonde. "Hyuga Hinata," Iruka called. Hinata, much like Naruto, walked up and picked up the weapons and without flinching effortlessly threw them, hitting every single target like Naruto. Iruka jaw dropped. What is up today? Hinata never was good in weapons. Congratulating Hinata, Iruka finished the rest of the class and moved to the Taijutsu exam. Okay class, for the next exam you must hold your ground against Mizuki for 2 minutes. Mizuki won't go very much on the offensive, but be prepared, Iruka explained. Uzumaki Naruto, Iruka called. Finally, I get my hands on the demon, Mizuki thought. Naruto, seeing the twisted smile in Mizuki's face, decided to make him suffer a little bit. Taking his stance, knees bent with right leg slightly forward. Right arm extended forward with right palm facing the enemy while the left arm coiled near the waist. Iruka eyes widened when he recognized the stance B, but that's the gentle fist stance, Iruka said. Poor Dobi, he even doesn't know what he's doing, Sasuke said, getting laughs from the rest of the class. Looks like Naruto-kun is going to play around for a little bit, Hinata thought with a giggle. Hajime, Iruka said, and immediately Mizuki shot forward with a closed fist trying to punch him. Naruto slightly grabbed his fist and turned to dodge. Seeing Mizuki stumble forward, Naruto slightly touched Mizuki's shoulder, closing one tenketsu, disabling his left arm. What did you do to me? Mizuki asked, enraged as he couldn't feel his left arm. I closed the main chakra point in your left shoulder, disabling your arm. It's over, you can't win, Naruto explained. But how? You don't have the Byakugan, Iruka said. How in the world could Naruto be able to close tenketsus? True, however the chakra points are fixed in the enemy's network, so I can remember where they are and estimate their location seeing my enemy. After that I send a small burst of chakra for area of effect, since I can't actually know exactly where the chakra point is. But nonetheless it works, Naruto explained. He got surprised faces from everyone minus Hinata. To think it's possible to use gentle fist without their dojutsu, Iruka thought. You damn brat, you are going to pay, Mizuki said and pushed forward blindly. As he came close to Naruto he simply smirked and said, you are in my field of divination. 2 palms, 4 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, 32 palms. Hakiraku Juaichao, Naruto said, finishing his attack, sending Mizuki crashing to the wall and leaving him unconscious. Naruto left the ring area with everyone staring at him. He just pulled a main house secret technique of the Hyuga clan. Cheater, the fangirls yelled. How can that Dobi defeat a Chunin? That power should belong to me, an elite, Sasuke thought, brooding in his spot. Iruka gave everyone 30 minutes interval while he picked up and took Mizuki to the infirmary. Alright, since Naruto knocked out Mizuki, we are going to have the students fight in one-on-one while I observe, Iruka explained. Hyuga Hinata vs Yamanaka Ino, Iruka called out. Poor girl, try to don't get hurt, Hinata, Ino taunted, to which Hinata rolled her eyes. It was time to show them who they were. Hajime. Ino quickly dashed forward. Hinata simply raised her right hand, aiming for Ino, channeling chakra to her palm. She said Hakikushu. A blast of air was sent and hit Ino dead center in her chest, throwing her out of the ring and onto the ground, leaving her unconscious. You cheated, it's Taijutsu only, Sakura screeched, making everyone bring their hands to their ears. That attack is considered Taijutsu, sorry, Hinata explained. What in the world is going here? Hinata was never that good at Taijutsu and Naruto always seemed like a street brawler, Iruka thought. Iruka picked Ino up and did quick checkup on her and left her leaned against a wall, waiting for her to wake up so she can pit it against someone, since he didn't see her do much. After the Taijutsu exam was over, everyone went inside the classroom while Iruka called which student individually for the ninjutsu portion. Uzumaki Naruto, Iruka called, and Naruto got up and made his down the stairs and stood in front of the classroom facing Iruka. Good luck, Dobi, you are going to need it, Sasuke said, smirking. Fool, Naruto thought. Okay, Naruto, please perform the Hench no Jutsu, Iruka said, and there was a poof of smoke, and in front of Iruka was a man that, even though Iruka knew it was a Hench, gave him shivers as he looked at his eyes. The man's eyes were glowing and it was the Sharingan. The man in front of Iruka was Uchiha Madara. Why of all people did you pick that man? Kyubi asked. The Kyubi despised Madara after all. You may not like him and he may have done more bad than good, but he still was a powerful shinobi and I have his legacy to honor, Naruto thought, getting sneer from the Kyubi. Interesting choice, Iruka said, discarding the shivers and continuing with the exam. Now get ready for Kawarimi, said Iruka as he picked up a blunt kunai and threw it at Naruto. Naruto switched with a chair that was nearby. Well done, Naruto, now do at least 2 bushins, Iruka said. Naruto always sucked at bushins and Naruto himself knew he couldn't create a single bushin to save his life. Bushin no Jutsu, Naruto said and tried to release the least amount of chakra possible. There was a poof of smoke and in the ground there was a dead clone. The whole class started laughing. Still can't do a damn Bushin, Iruka-sensei, is it okay if I use another type of Bushin? Naruto asked. Sure, not problem, Iruka answered, wondering what kind of Bushin Naruto was going to do. Kage Bushin no Jutsu, Naruto said. There was a poof of smoke and in front of Iruka were 10 perfect clones of Naruto. Naruto smirked at the reaction of his teacher. Iruka jaw dropped seeing Naruto pulling in B-rank Ninjutsu. Wow Naruto, Kage Bushin is a Jonin level Bushin, congratulations you pass, Iruka said. Naruto smirked and picked his Hitachi in black and tied it around his forehead. Hinata went shortly after and she too aced the exam, however she could do perfect Bushins unlike poor Naruto. Okay class, the exams are over, congratulations to everyone that passed. This year's Rookie of the Year is Uzumaki Naruto and top Kunoichi is Hyuga Hinata, Iruka said, happy that Naruto passed and not only that he was Rookie of the Year. What? Kiba yelled. How can the dead last be Rookie of the Year? He asked. Very simple, both Naruto and Hinata aced the written exam, got perfect scores in the weapons exam but also Taijutsu and Ninjutsu, Iruka explained. Is nothing but a loser. I'm an Uchiha and elite. I demand a duel between us for the title, Sasuke said. It's your choice Naruto, Iruka said. Let's go outside, Baka, Naruto said, and Sasuke smirked thinking he could take him on. Hinata just shook her head knowing where this was going. That idiot is going to end up in the hospital. Everyone left the classroom and came to the training ground. Naruto and Sasuke stepped inside the ring facing each other, each one doing half tiger seal signifying they were ready for battle. Now this is a duel for title of Rookie of the Year, you can use anything. However, no crippling or killing strike, understood? Iruka said. Getting nods from both of them, he said Hajime. Deciding to prove his superiority and intending to end this match quickly, Sasuke dashed forward and throwing him a punch. Naruto simply sidestepped the punch, he brought his knee and hit Sasuke's stomach. Sasuke bent forward from the strike, giving Naruto opportunity to give a chop in the back of his neck, leaving him unconscious on the ground. It's done, Naruto said, and of course the fangirls started yelling that Naruto cheated. Congratulations Naruto, you are Rookie of the Year along with Hinata, Iruka said, and both Naruto and Hinata left the academy with her wrapped around his arm. Of course Kiba, seeing this, got mad that Naruto was leaving with his Hinata. However, the rest of the class just kept wondering what happened today. Everyone except Shikamaru that always suspected that Naruto was hiding his true strength. Shikamaru may look lazy and unfocused, but he is also extremely intelligent and observant. Naruto and Hinata were walking together, going to have dinner out as a celebration for graduating and becoming Shinobi of the Leaf. They were walking to a caracas when Naruto sensed someone running through the woods. Of course Naruto remembered when Hinata was kidnapped, people running through the woods is always suspicious. Both of them decided to see what was happening and went after that person. Outpost. Mizuki was running through the woods with a large scroll in his back, unaware that he was being tailed. Stopping near a small shack, he sit on the ground, opened and started reading from the scroll. With the scroll of seals, Orochimaru-sama is going to give more power than I can dream of, Mizuki thought out loud. Naruto and Hinata, wearing this, were about to jump him and retrieve the scroll when out of the sudden Iruka dropped in front of Mizuki. Mizuki, how could you do this? You betrayed the leaf, Iruka said. He didn't understand how his best friend could betray the leaf and steal the scroll. Simple Iruka, I want power, and when I give Orochimaru-sama this scroll is going to give more power that you can dream of, Mizuki said. He pulled couple of shurikens and threw them at Iruka, yelling Shuriken Kage Bushin no Jutsu. The shurikens multiplied to 20. Iruka, seeing this, hesitated and ended up pinned against a tree. Mizuki took out a Fuuma Shuriken and dashed forward with it, spinning, intending to end Iruka once and for all. Naruto, seeing this, jumped in the middle of them, kicking Mizuki back. Naruto, Iruka said, surprised to see him. Hinata, heal Iruka-sensei. I'll take care of him, Naruto said. Hi, she replied and started healing Iruka. You damn demon. Have you ever wondered why everyone hates you? Mizuki asked, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. No Mizuki, it's forbidden, Iruka yelled. 14 years ago the Yondaime didn't kill the Kyuubi, he sealed it in you. You are the Kyuubi reborn, Mizuki said, expecting to break the brat so he could escape. Are you an idiot? He asked rhetorically. Mizuki narrowed his eyes, wondering how it didn't do anything. I've known about the Kyuubi since I was 5 years old, hell, I've been talking to him ever since. Did you even wonder why I have the kanji for 9 in my jacket? It's because I take pride in being a Jinchuriki. My life may not have been easy, but I'm happy that the Ondime chose me. Naruto said, getting shocked faces from both Mizuki and Hyuga. Enough talk, and since you broke the third law I have permission to kill you, Naruto explained. Try it, Demon Fox, Mizuki said, and took the last of Fuuma shurikens and threw it at him. Naruto dodged the shuriken and went through a couple of hand seals and said, Katen, Gukaku no Jutsu. Mizuki's eyes widened when he saw the fireball coming. He jumped to the left where Naruto was waiting and gave him a fierce kick to the ribs, sending Mizuki crashing to the trees. Mizuki barely got up since he got a couple of broken ribs. Trying his best to find the demon brat when suddenly something grabbed his ankle. Looking down he saw a hand sticking of the ground grabbing him tightly. Doten, Shinjuzanshu no Jutsu, Naruto said, dragging and burying Mizuki, leaving only his head out of the ground. Mizuki tried to get out but got nowhere. Naruto picked up the scroll of seals and caught a glimpse of a technique. Opening the scroll it said Bunshin Daibakubi rank. Closing the scroll he put it in his back and went to Hyuga as Hinata was finishing to heal him. How are you feeling, Hyuga-sensei? Naruto asked. Hyuga was one of a few people Naruto cared about. I'm fine thanks to you, he replied. Moments later Anbu arrived at the scene and took Hyuga, Naruto and Hinata to the Hokage and Mizuki to Ibiki. Hokage office. Anbu arrived with the three of them at the Hokage office. Naruto delivered the scroll of seals to the Hokage. Well done, Naruto. Due to yours and Hinata's help we managed to secure the scroll of seals and catch a traitor. I'm considering this a B-rank mission. I saw what happened through my crystal ball and I know you learned a jutsu from the scroll. Just be careful with that one. Anything else I might do for you in compensation? The Hokage asked. He was secretly happy that Naruto took his training serious. Actually there is Gigi, Naruto said and got smacked in the head by Hyuga. Show some respect to the Hokage, you brat, Hyuga said. Don't worry so much, Hyuga, the Hokage said. I want to ask you if I could be on the same team as Hinata-chan and without Sasuke. We both know there will come a time I will need my eyes and I don't want problems, he said, and the Hokage raised an eyebrow considering the request. I know what you are thinking. I bet you are considering placing me along with Sasuke and Hinata, since Rookie of the Year goes with Kunoichi of the Year, and have a create a heavy assault team. Naruto explained and continued, however you can still get the same benefits if you have Kiba, Sasuke and Sakura for the heavy assault team, and you can have a perfect tracking team along with heavy assault with me, Hinata and Shino. Since I have my eyes and I'm a sensor, Naruto finished. Eyes, Hyuga asked. The Hokage, seeing Naruto asking him what to do, silently said, it's up to you, Naruto, the Hokage said. Hyuga-sensei, if you promise to not tell anyone until I reveal it, I will tell you, Naruto said, and Hyuga replied, you can trust me, Naruto, you know that. Look into my eyes, Naruto said, and closed them. Slowly opening them for dramatic effect, they were blood red with 3 tomos in each eye. Naruto's eyes were a fully matured Sharingan. Holy shit, Hyuga yelled. Naruto simply rubbed the back of his head. That's why you transformed into Madara during the exam, Hyuga said, and the Hokage raised an eyebrow. Of course, sensei, I have a legacy to keep. After all, Madara was my grandfather, Naruto said. Hyuga's jaw dropped hearing this. Naruto was the grandson of one of the most powerful shinobi to ever live. Naruto, you really are the #1 unpredictable ninja of Konoha, he said, and both Naruto and the Hokage laughed. Naruto, if you have a fully matured Sharingan, how could you be the dead last up until now, Hyuga asked. Deception is a ninja greatest tool. I listened to some of your lectures, he said, smirking, to which Hyuga just dumbly nodded. All is well when ends well. Naruto, I agree with your request. Be at the academy next week for team placement. See you tomorrow, the Hokage said. Naruto, Hinata, how about I take to ramen as a thank you, Hyuga asked, and of course Naruto agreed, jumping the air. The Hokage just shook his head seeing all 3 of them leaving his office. He sighed and picked up the pencil. No, the Hokage yelled, seeing paperwork pop up out of nowhere. Naruto, hearing the Hokage yell, thought maybe I should tell him one of these days. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.